What's up guys, Blur here, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, we have all sorts of gaming related content from software reviews to hardware reviews, so if that's your thing, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell icon so that you get notified every time a new video comes out. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Nvidia's broadcast software that just released last week from Nvidia. This software suite has RTX voice, background and video replacement, so like artificial green screening, face tracking, and more. So we're going to be taking a look at that piece of software. So if you're ready, I know I am. Let's get into it. For you to be able to utilize Nvidia Broadcast, you need to have one of the new RTX cards. So from the 20 series up to the 30 series, either one of those two series cards, they will work. So if the video card has RTX in front of numbers, you get to go. To get Nvidia Broadcast, it's actually really easy. You just go to the Nvidia website, go ahead and get to their Nvidia Broadcast section. I'll even leave a link to this in the description below, and then just download it. So once you're done downloading, go ahead and run the exe and install Nvidia Broadcast. So once you're done installing Nvidia Broadcast, you're going to be greeted with three separate items here. So microphone will allow you to negate background noise in your mic. So you would select your mic. For me, in this case, it's my Blue Yeti. I don't know why they have an effect on here. I guess they're looking to add additional effects kind of down the line, but for right now, noise removal is the only one that's there. Make sure that the radio button is on, and then you won't hear any background noise. So you can also adjust the strength to it in case you find that it's clipping your clips or for some reason you can't hear yourself. If you want to add this noise suppression to your software, let's say you're streaming and you want to add this to OBS, it's really simple. All you have to do is go into OBS. Here's the OBS Infinity screen. And then you add it as an audio input capture device. When you do that, go ahead and select microphone Nvidia Broadcast from the device list, and there you go. Now you're going to be able to hear anything that Nvidia Broadcast outputs. So what I did want to do, since I am capturing this with the Nvidia software, is I have one of my daughter's toys. So you hear that this makes a lot of noise. You can probably hear that in the background. That's probably very aggravating. So let's see what happens when I turn on noise removal. All right, I'm turning on noise removal, and I haven't stopped or cut the video. This is actually what has happened in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or not. I'm gonna have to play this back, but I think every indication will say you won't be able to hear this noise. Okay, I just listened to that video clip back, and a couple of things I wanted to note, just kind of listening to it. Wow, did that really get rid of that annoying rattling noise in the background? But it does come at a cost. Now, listening back to it, my voice sounds very tinny when the RTX voice is on. It sounds like there's a couple of cuts as well within my voice. It doesn't sound completely natural or full. So that's one thing for you to kind of recognize and notice. It will cut out that annoying background noise, which will likely drive your audience crazy or anybody in your Discord crazy, but at the same time, you're not going to sound fantastic. So the next thing we're going to look at is the speakers tab. So clicking on the speakers tab, this effectively adds the RTX noise reduction to anything that's going to be outputting through your speakers. So whereas the first one was anything that you would hear in your background, this would apply it to anything you would hear from somebody else's background. Let's say you were in Discord and you had somebody screaming in the background like a baby or a kid, or, you know, they like to game next to a refrigerator. I don't know, right? You can apply this, and this will apply the noise reduction to anything that's outputting to your output speakers. Here, audio source, you can select what your audio source is. Normally, you might want to leave that as default device if you're going to keep this on all the time. Effect noise removal. Again, I don't know why they have effect on here. I don't know if they're planning on adding more in the future. And then you have your on-off toggle. So the last tab that we're going to take a look at is going to be the camera beta that they added with the Nvidia Broadcast. Now, admittedly, this was extremely difficult for me to record. I don't think that this is working well with capture cards. Yeah, there's a lot of problems. Here in the camera beta, you have the option to select your source. In this case, I have my capture card. What resolution and frame rate you want to capture that video on, and what type of effect. Now, there are multiple effects here with the camera. So the first one we're gonna go ahead and try out is gonna be background removal. So I'm gonna click on that, and bam, my background is gone. Now, as you see, it's not perfect. It's definitely not better than having like a dedicated green screen. You can see a lot of artifacting, especially like around my hat. You see still a lot of flickering and things like that. But it's definitely doing a decent job. And if you don't have money for like a green screen or something like that, in a pinch, this is gonna work great. Now let's try some of the other ones. So blur background, for me, I have a very fast lens on my Canon M50. I have a Sigma f1.4 16mm lens on my Canon. So naturally I get the blurring effect in the background just by using my lens. But a lot of you guys are on like Logitech webcams, and this could really help separate you from your background and actually make your video pop and make it look a little bit more like you're shooting on a DSLR. If I strengthen that effect here, you'll see that it does get a little more blurry. And let's see if we see any artifacting or anything like that, kind of as I move my hands around. Okay, so that's interesting. I have not yet been able to get the background replacement to work. You should be able to select, oh, hold on, maybe I'll be able to do something now. You should be able to select a photo, so let's do Call of Duty. Open it and add it to the background. There you go. See? Now I'm in the battlefield. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew. This is cool if you want to add a specific background or a photo or something. Glad that they fixed that. It wasn't working earlier today. And then last but not least, the auto frame. So auto frame's pretty cool. It tracks your head movement. It's fairly fast too. You know, it reacts really well. If you're one of those people who, when you sit down and you game, you're really like energetic, explosive, and you move around a lot, this will help the camera keep track of you. When you actually turn this functionality on, it's actually cropping in to maintain a tracking motion of your head. As long as you remain in frame for your camera, it'll track your head movement. Really neat stuff. And so I guess here you can control the zoom. Under settings, there isn't really much here. Just launch with Windows, and that's it. Now, this video was a little bit harder to film than I initially expected. So I actually have this camera connected to an Elgato HD60 Plus. It gets fed into the Nvidia Broadcast software, which then you're able to do all your effects and then be able to output it out. The problem was, once I would get things into OBS, where you would presumably want to replace your background and things like that during stream, etc., it would always freeze, always. And so I couldn't replace it on the 4K capture utility, because the 4K capture utility, that won't allow me to record what's on the camera while Nvidia Broadcast is still running. So there were some conflicts there. This was just an extremely difficult video to film and make for some reason. So hopefully you guys get a lot of information out of it. But I mean, this actually does feed into the review. The software's pretty buggy. It's the same reason why I actually stopped using RTX Voice when it was in a beta. It's very specifically because it broke. You can never use it. And very frequently and periodically, I have a lot of friends who use RTX Voice or the voice portion of Nvidia Broadcast, and they're having audio issues all the time. So what are my final thoughts on Nvidia Broadcast? Well, I think that the feature set is extremely neat. I really think that the noise canceling can really help you out, especially if you're streaming, recording, or even just talking to your friends through Discord and you're in a very noisy environment, right? I know I have a 2-year-old that runs around. A lot of you guys have kids as well. So that type of sound suppression would be really beneficial. I wouldn't utilize it if you're already in a quiet room. It does change the way that your voice sounds. So just keep that in mind when you use it. And then I really think that the video functionality of this still needs a whole lot of work. Doesn't seem to be terribly compatible with everything. Again, I can only talk about my experience. You might have a different experience with it. So it's free if you have an RTX based card. So I would go ahead and check it out anyway, just to see if you like the end result. So what do you guys think? Do you think that this is a strong set of tools that will help your productivity as a content creator? Or do you think that these are just kind of gimmicks and they really don't help out your content at all? Leave your comments down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit thumbs up on that video. I'm a small content creator, so it helps out a lot. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell icon so that you get notified anytime a new video comes out. I stream every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Twitch, DLive, and Facebook. So if you have a moment, come check us out. And with all that being said, thank you very much for joining us today, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.